My name is Hunter Most. I'm the Vice Chair of GAA. And I'm here to introduce the next speakers for this conference. But before I do, I'd like to just quickly tie them to one. These men are responsible for an international charity marathon that takes place in Thailand and benefits an orphanage for genocide-escaping refugees. I've worked with this organization in the Department of Public Relations, and I can tell you, delegates, that the self-confidence that I strengthened here during my years in MUN allowed me to make connections for them with places such as Fox News and the New York Times. But please come to order. But there's another MUN connection. These men are actually high school seniors, both of which attended a Model United Nations conference just last year, one at Harvard and the other right here at Hershey. These men are shining examples of seeing problems in the world and trying their best to fix them. For their efforts, they've been given many awards, including recognition as heroes of the running community by Runner's World magazine. And I'm glad to call them my friends. So now I'm going to introduce to you, and I would hope that you will give them your undivided attention. Here now is Andrew Hudis and Phil Carlin.
Just one quick announcement before Andrew and Phil speak. If the adult advisors could please roam throughout the room as we talked about at the adult advisor meeting this afternoon. Thank you.
When we were 15 years old, we crashed a boat into the Karen state of Burma and tried to convince 4 AK-47 yielding teenagers to let us enter into the country. The Karen people are an ethnic group in Burma, also called Myanmar, who have been fighting unsuccessfully for their own state since 1948. They have their own culture, their own language, and their own traditions. But since their land is rich with oil, gold, and gems, the massive Burmese army has oppressed and exterminated the Karen tribes in an attempt to dissolve their culture and assimilate them entirely into mainstream Burmese life. We have traveled over 12,000 miles from home, and we're witnessing their revolution from within the battle zone of the Civil War. What initially attracted us to this cause was the uniform belief that learning leads to happiness.
My name is Andrew Hudis.
And I'm Phil Carlitz, and as the founders of the Tribe to Tribe International Marathon, we have made it our goal to raise $250,000 each year to support a group of hundreds of Karen orphans, just a small fraction of those who find themselves unable to receive an education after fleeing to Thailand. Often, their parents spend their life fortunes to have their children sent over to Thailand from Burma for their only chance at true freedom. But without a legal guardian, the children are rounded into refugee camps, or in the most extreme cases, exploited by traffickers and sold into sweatshops or sexual slavery. Since they lack Thai IDs, the children cannot enroll in public school, so we created a standard 26.2-mile marathon race to help bring attention and raise funds to send these children to a local private school. Through these efforts, these kids can break the cycle of poverty and gain their Thai citizenship.
I suppose it makes sense at this time to give a little bit of background information about how we started the marathon itself. Our story starts with Rustic Pathways, a travel service specializing in group travel for high school students. We had already used the company to travel to New Zealand the year before and quickly booked a panoramic tour of Asia for the following summer. And next thing we knew, we were jetting at the speed of sound for Delhi, India. However, this was nothing compared to the adventure that awaited for us in Thailand. After landing in Bangkok, we met David Venner, the owner of Rustic Pathways and our tour guide for the next 2 weeks. I'd like to point out at this time that David is 6'8", which possibly makes him the largest person in all of Thailand. And though many Thais were intimidated by his size, they were all overwhelmed by his unconditional kindness and generosity. Just a few months earlier, David had built an orphanage in the town of Mae Sarian, 50 kilometers from the Thai-Burmese border. Its mission was to support young, orphaned Karen children and to provide them with an education. When he spoke about the children he was helping, he did it with an unimaginably sincere passion. As we found ourselves immersed in Thai culture, we too were developing ambitions to help the Karen youth. At the time, we were both avid runners and thought we could participate in a race back in the United States and have people donate for every mile that we ran. We approached David with our idea. David, we want to run a marathon for the Karen orphanage, we told him. Thinking more like a businessman and less as an athlete, he misinterpreted our word run to mean organize, as in run a business. That's a great idea, he answered. We can run it right here in Mae Sarian. My heart skipped a beat. We wanted to participate in an existing race, but he continued to push us to create one entirely of our own. We explained to him that a marathon took considerable planning, and that Phil and I attended school, a fact he too often seemed to forget, considering it's still common to receive an urgent email during third period. Besides, Mae Sarian, the town of the orphanage and our race destination, was just a rural dot penciled in on a map. It had no airport, just 3,000 permanent residents living in the town proper, and it was so small that we seriously doubted there were even 26 miles of road to run on. In fact, the greatest new innovation in the town was its first 7-Eleven, and even then, they still hadn't gotten the Slurpee machine. However, David had already pictured us crossing the finish line, and from that point, entropy took over.
Less than 2 weeks later, we found ourselves flying around Mae Sarian in the back of a pickup truck, trying to map out a race course. The entire town knew us by the time we left. We were the awkward and conspicuous foreigners, or farang, as the Thais say, with our faces wrapped up to drive through a sandstorm and sitting in the bed of the nicest vehicle in the area, a 1990s Dodge pickup. There were no maps of the town and no street signs. It took us 2 weeks, 2 trips, and countless hours, but we had somehow managed to make a race. The task of operating the marathon also proved difficult. We had the goal of not only raising money for the orphanage and the race, but also attracting attention to the Karen cause. We Googled how to write a press release and shot for the moon. We wanted Oprah. Unfortunately, her people have not gotten in touch with our people yet, but we continue to work all year. We held our first race in 2009 with over 550 runners from 5 countries, and we raised a total of $10,000. Last year, we hosted the race again, this time with 200 more runners, representing over a dozen countries and raising closer to $30,000. In the interim, our race was featured in Runner's World magazine, Fox News, and was rated one of the 150 most adventurous races on the planet, noted for its narrow course, weaving through elaborately terraced rice fields, and its exposure to the lives of the native people. However, we've realized that for many people, it simply isn't realistic to go to Thailand. And since our race is called the Tribe to Tribe Marathon, it is now our goal to help connect the Karen tribe to our tribe at home, be them schools, universities, towns, cities, states, or model UN conferences from Pennsylvania. That is why we are speaking here today. We are proud to announce for the first time the launch of a new project, the Tribe to Tribe Global Initiative. Starting this month, our program will allow you to start a club in your school. You will be able to connect directly with individual orphaned refugees from Burma through Facebook, email, Skype, and other video conference technologies. You will be able to become an active part in this child's life, to help him practice English, to ask him how his week was, and to speak to a first-hand victim of genocide, so you can hear facts straight from the source without the filter of CNN, BBC, or the New York Times. And I gotta tell you, these kids are really awesome. Through a variety of fundraisers and established programs, you will have the opportunity to raise funds to aid the education of these youth. If your club or tribe can raise just a few $100s, something obtainable through bake sales or car washes, you will be able to sponsor the tuition and living fees of an orphan for an entire year. However, if you feel that you do not wish to start your own club, or simply believe that you are a member of a one-man wolf pack, we can supply you with the resources necessary to create relationships in Thailand with a friend of yours, with a parent, with a teacher, or simply by yourself. It is not how you do it, it is simply that you get involved. In this symbiotic partnership, we can learn from each other's cultures, connecting our tribes with their tribes.
We're actually so serious about sharing this culture with you that we're going to send 3 of you out there in the audience to Thailand this summer for free. Hey, Thailand. In your committee session, after dinner, you'll be able to fill out a simple form to enter for a chance to win one of 2 trips to Thailand this summer. A grand prize 3-week trip, including both touring and community service, and a chance to visit us at the 2011 Tribe to Tribe Marathon, and a second place prize for a 1-week trip to Mae Sria and Chiang Mai for the 2011 Tribe to Tribe Marathon. Also, anyone who fills out an application to open a chapter of the Tribe to Tribe Global Initiative at his or her school will enter another 3rd drawing for a 2-week trip of touring and community service in Thailand this July. We'll be back tomorrow at closing ceremonies to announce the winners of the grand prize and second prize. And we will announce the winner of the 3rd trip in 2 weeks by email, Facebook, and through our website. Everyone at this conference has constantly been calling you the future leaders of the world, the future players in international relations, and the future mediators in global conflict. But I ask you, why wait? Why be a future leader when you can start this week? Why wait to make your mark on international diplomacy when you can start right now? Why wait 10 more years before reaching out to a foreign culture when you can reach out today? The world needs solving now, this month, today. You can make a change right now in the life of a real human from an endangered culture that simply can't wait for you in the future. If anyone is interested in helping us grow our project and lead our initiative, please come see us after dinner. Visit us online at tribetotribeinitiative.org or become a fan of the Tribe to Tribe Global Initiative on Facebook. We'll be around after dinner if anyone wants to hang out or has any questions, and we'll be scavenging around tonight looking for a room with N64 or Super Smash Brothers. Thanks again for providing me with the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you.